I was sitting on the floor of my bedroom, staring at the screen of my cell phone as if those words could suddenly change, as if my father's message would turn into something less cutting if I waited long enough. But it was still there, hard and immovable. Thank you for existing, don't come. It was Christmas Eve, and I had just heard my sister tell our parents that I was only breaking into the apartment I was paying for. I didn't argue, I didn't shout, I just stood there, feeling the ground sink beneath me. The next morning, her key no longer worked, and 2 wrapped packages waited on the doorstep, one of them still moving slightly, like a heart beating inside a gift wrap. I knew what was inside. I knew that little stirring was the only sign of life left between us. It all started slowly, almost imperceptibly. First it was the groceries, then the rent, then the electricity bills that she was going to pay, as soon as she got paid. I didn't complain, because that's what you do for your family, right? You help without question, you hold the line, you believe the promises. Alina had always been good with words. She knew how to reel things in, how to make it seem like everything was temporary, that she was almost on her feet. But the temporary became permanent, and I, the sucker who paid for everything, became the intruder in my own home. That night, before leaving for our parents' dinner, she stopped at the door, adjusting her curls in the mirror, and let out, "Oh, in case they ask, I told them you're just filling in, since your name isn't on the contract." I froze, my hands still dipped in the dishwater. "You said what?" She rolled her eyes. "Relax, it's no big deal. I just don't want people to think I'm supporting you." I should have seen it coming. The signs were all there. The mysterious purchases, the loans that were never paid back, the way she talked about me to her friends when she thought I wasn't listening. He's like a bank with no limit fee. Why not take advantage of it? They laughed. I listened. But what broke me for good was the message from my father. 6 words. Nothing more, nothing less. Like a final rejection stamp. While they celebrated Christmas together, I was alone in my room, staring at the ceiling, thinking about how many times I had shrunk myself to fit into the space that was left. That night, I took out my toolbox and changed the locks. It wasn't out of anger, it was out of peace. When she tried to get in the next morning, I heard the knocking, the swearing, the frustration. I didn't open it. I just left the packages there. One with the credit card bill she'd opened in my name, the other with a cell phone vibrating nonstop. I wanted her to feel a little of what I felt, the agony of being ignored, the humiliation of being used. She broke down the door, of course. "What's this?" she shouted, holding the box as if it was going to explode. "Christmas present," I replied. "Open it." When she saw the statements, the messages, the proof of everything she'd done, her face changed. She was no longer the sister I knew. She was a stranger. My parents called a few minutes later. "How can you be so cruel?" my mother cried. "Family is for forgiving," I laughed. "Family is for taking care of, not sucking up to." I put the recording of Alina laughing behind my back on speaker. The silence on the other end was the best response I've ever had. Over the next few months, I sued her. I sued my parents, not for money, for justice. And for the first time, someone listened to me. The lawyer went through the documents, the debts, the prints, and said, "This is more than theft. It's exploitation." When the sentence came down, I didn't celebrate. I just took a deep breath, as if the weight of years had lifted. Today, my apartment is silent. Not in the sad way, the right way. Nobody calls me an intruder. Nobody asks me for money. And when I meet my father by chance in the street, he doesn't talk about reconciliation. He just mumbles something about the Christmas I ruined. I smile. You started it. I only finished. I don't regret it. I don't miss it. The only thing I carry with me is an old photo of me and Alina as children, laughing. I kept it not out of nostalgia, but as a reminder that love is not synonymous with suffering. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is leave, and for the first time, I'm at peace. The silence after the storm months have passed since everything happened. and the apartment that was once a battlefield now breathes calm. The walls are still the same, the furniture too, but the air is different, lighter, as if it has been purged of all the lies I've swallowed over the years. Sometimes I still find myself waiting for the phone to ring, hoping for an apology message that I know will never come. But silence no longer scares me. It reminds me that I survived. Mike, her ex-boyfriend, ended up staying on my sofa for a few days after he found out that she had also used his name for purchases. It was strange having someone there, but it wasn't bad. We didn't talk much, just shared the space in silence, like two survivors of a shipwreck. One night, he looked at me and said, "You should have done this before." I didn't reply, but I knew he was right. My grandmother, the only one who seemed to understand, called me a few weeks later. "They're angry," she said, "but you did the right thing." I didn't need to say any more. That phone call was the only link left, and I treasured her words. Alina tried to get in touch a few times. Vague messages, hints on social media, even an email saying she was going through difficulties. I didn't reply, not out of spite, but because I finally understood that some people don't change. They just change their tactics. The money I got back didn't erase the scars, but it gave me something I hadn't had for years: security. I paid off my own debts, bought a new computer, even booked a trip, something I would never have done before because I was always spending it all on others. And then, one day, the package arrived. No sender, no warning. Inside, a photo of the two of us as children, and on the back, a message from her daughter, a girl I barely knew. "I'm sorry for the way my mother treated you. Thank you for everything." I stared at those words until they blurred. I don't know how she got my address. I don't know why she decided to write. But at that moment, I felt something I never expected to feel again. Hope. Maybe one day I'll talk to them again. Maybe I won't. What matters is that now I decide. Now I exist. Not as a bank, not as an intruder, but as someone who has finally learned to say no. And that, more than anything else, is my victory.